Good afternoon, friends and family of Christ Church, Nacogdoches. Father Karl here, wanting to talk to you about something very important in the life of the church, and that is the season of stewardship that we are currently in. In the last couple of weeks, most of you have received a pledge card in the mail, and in that pledge card, we are asking you, the faithful people of Christ Church, to pray and to think about what God might be calling you to do this upcoming stewardship season in terms of your giving. Our passage of scripture that we're focusing on during this season comes from James chapter 1, which says this: "Do not be deceived, my beloved brothers. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there's no variation or shadow due to change." Even though 2020 has been a bit of a crazy year, and it's been a time where there's been a lot of uncertainty, whether it be because of COVID, whether it be social strife, whether it be the current political cycle, the fact of the matter is the church has continued to be faithful, and that God, in his grace and mercy, has been faithful to us. And one of the ways that God calls us to show our gratitude for what he has done in our lives and in our midst is simply to give back to him what was his to begin with. You see, every good and perfect gift that we have, as James says, comes from above. Our families, our homes, and especially our finances. And what we do each and every year is we try to make a commitment to God, to the church, and to one another to endure in the spiritual discipline of giving of our time, treasure, and talent. And God calls us to do so with a grateful and cheerful heart, and to do so sacrificially. Now, as we are in the middle of this campaign season, I encourage you to be praying with your family, to be thinking about what are you going to do this year in terms of a financial commitment to Christ Church. God has been so good to us, even in these past few months as we've been here, and Jen and I and the vestry and the finance committee, we're really excited about what God's going to continue to do in our midst in 2021. In the midst of hearing all these messages of doom and gloom, we, the church, continue to be encouraged and continue to serve Christ in joy and with happiness, knowing that he is still seated on the throne, even in the midst of all these difficult things. So friends, we want to encourage you to really dig deep into your understanding of who God is and what God has done for us, especially in the terms of sending his son to die for us. Now, we are looking to do a lot more in the church this year with ministries, with technology, with upkeep of our physical plant that has been entrusted to us from the generations in the past. And in order to do so, we need you to give sacrificially. We need you to give from the abundance of what God has given us. Now listen, it can be easy for us to sit here and say we need you to give because we need to be able to present a balanced budget. But the reality is we need to give more than the church needs to receive. Jen and I have been tithing faithfully for the past 10 years, and we've seen God be faithful time and time again to prove himself worthy and to prove himself to be faithful to his promises. Now, I know that some of us don't like to fill out a pledge card because we think, oh, well, I don't want to be, tied down to an amount, and I'm afraid if I miss a week that, then it'll throw everything off. And so I just would rather just give and not write something down. We ask you to consider maybe this year, if you haven't done it before in the past, to actually fill out a pledge card. It's not a binding legal contract. We're not going to come to your house and knock on your door and take your car and repo it if you don't fulfill. But I think it helps us to commit. That's why we fill out a pledge card, is we know what we're planning on giving, but for us it's this gesture and the symbolic act of writing it down and saying we're committed to the life of the church. So friends, please fill out those pledge cards, pray and ask the Lord to lead you and guide you into what you should give this year. Maybe God's calling you to step up to a tithe this year. Maybe God is calling you to go above and beyond a tithe. But whatever it is, make sure that you're seeking God in his wisdom and guidance. And please get the pledge cards in as soon as you can. We are asking people to get them back in the next week by October 15th, but obviously we will take them beyond that. But we're grateful for you, we're praying for you, and we're blessed to see what God's going to continue to do in the midst of Christ Church.